Man, it has been a battle of a week, and earlier this week, I went ahead and I posted that video to you guys about the swing trades that I entered on both Nvidia and Tesla. Both of those trades, in my opinion, still looking fantastic, and the longer-term analysis still looking good on the SPY holding above that previous all-time high. Everything still looks to be valid in terms of the larger picture idea. Now, for me, the problem here, and especially for option contracts, is that the short-term volatility, the short-term sideways action, and the short-term sort of fades of upside levels has taken me out of these positions and has sort of made me lose confidence in really wanting to hold over this weekend. Nvidia actually ended up being a fantastic winning trade, even though I was looking for more. It didn't really fully play out. Tesla ended up being a loser, which did offset those Nvidia wins, but all in all, a pretty net neutral outcome on those trades, both Nvidia and Tesla. I really was looking for more, but there are some levels above on the NASDAQ futures and on the QQQ that is just keeping this market subdued. And today I did decide to just cut those trades, cut it while I'm ahead, cut my losses, and move on, right? Move on, wait for the markets to show more opportunity, get more into the scalp mentality that has really been paying over the last 4 days. Scalping these upside and downside levels intraday has been the money moves, and holding these swing trades in this market environment just doesn't seem to be the right move right now. So while I am not fully giving up on these ideas that I talked to you guys about on Nvidia and Tesla, in today's video, I do want to explain why I got out of them, how I got out of them pretty unharmed, Nvidia good, Tesla bad, and hopefully you guys can learn from my decisions here, my decision making, my decisions to reduce risk here and just protect my account, and hopefully find these opportunities in the near future. So if you enjoyed today's video, press that like button, subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts, and let's talk about these two trades. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and start with the good, and then we will go into the, I don't even want to call it bad, but the loss of Tesla. You guys can see right here, made about 18% on the Nvidia swing trade, made about $16,950. Had about 90,000 in the trade and came out with about 20%. I went ahead and I entered, as you guys know, down back at that 115 area. This was the last video I made. I exited some on that day, took some profits, and then took some profits yesterday on Thursday of this week. Today, the trade's still looking valid, but I want to explain to you guys, and once we get into the QQQ, as to why I took this off and why I'm just sort of tired of watching this chop on the overall market. And really, maybe, right, maybe the real answer here is that the market has faked me out, right? And that's very possible because Nvidia, in terms of the technicals, and when I think back at this trade, and if I had more time, and if I took maybe some month-out contracts and didn't have so much concern about the intraday volatility, it really is still a great watch, right, and a great setup. And I want to explain why I originally took it once again, why it's still a good setup, but I also will explain why I exited it and why I'm cautious of what's going on here. So as of right now, you guys can see Nvidia broke that downtrend. It held above that 118. It reclaimed the 122. And as of right now, it's really all about the 122. Sorry, it got above the 120, and it got it back above the 122. Right? And right now, the 122 is the key. This is the key to whether Nvidia can continue higher. This is that previous rejection point right here, that 122 level. This was these previous lows and highs at 122. And we can see both yesterday and today, if we go to the 5-minute chart, that 122 level held all day yesterday and held even on this very aggressive drop today and held it once again, right? So as long as Nvidia is above 122, in my mind, I want to maintain this position. But there is something that I'm about to share with you why I am deciding to bail out. And the reason I'm deciding to bail out is because of just this choppy QQQ and overall market action that really is nothing that's confidence inspiring, right? So today we had 486, we had 486 on the Qs, and we had these previous lows at 486. If we go into the intraday action today, I would have wanted to see the QQQ maintain over 486 to really think that this could continue higher, right? But today, we can see that morning action, that morning upside that came in due to non-farm payrolls, rejected, failed back under 486, and pretty much all day here, we have been unable to get back above that 486. If we were able to do a little hold above this level today, I think I would have been a lot more confident that the markets could start to structure higher, right, and maintain a swing trade. But today, it is again another day of pretty choppy action, and I just can't build the confidence to hold this large of a swing trade over the weekend. And this maybe has to do with some of the risk management tactics and just making sure that I'm protecting the profits that I've made and making sure I'm not irrationally risking these large dollar amounts. So there was some things on the overall market that I just did not enjoy today, right? And the other thing that I will show you is the S&P 500 futures. The S&P 500 futures had a very, very nasty rejection of the 5,800 level today. If I go here to the hourly chart, you guys can see we had that 5,800. We had this 5,800 area, and this 5,800 was exactly where we pushed up into on that non-farm payroll data this morning. And if we go into the 5-minute chart, right, we can see that 5,800 sellers really stacked up there, and we've been unable to really continue higher here on the overall market. And so under that 5,800, I'm just still concerned about the overall market continuation. Under this NASDAQ 20,200, I'm still concerned about this overall continuation. Let me show you why. 20,200. 1 second. I'll go back to the 1 hour chart. You guys can see right here, right? This 20,200 right there, right here. And again, today, we are failing to maintain above that 20,200. So for those reasons, I have to use that market context to just say, hey, this might be something to be cautious of, and we might start to fail here. And if so, NVIDIA might not get much more, and that is why I decided to bail out on this position. I was up nicely, as even though it wasn't my full target, I decided to go ahead and take those profits and run and protect myself here because, one, it's a good profit nonetheless, but number two, and you guys know this if you've been following me, I just haven't really had a great week of trading, and it felt like today was a good day to just reset, take it all off, and move forward and find a new opportunity, right? So really clear there on NVIDIA. I still like the trade. I'll be very open and honest about that. I think this is still a very interesting upside trade, but hopefully next week we can get some more market action and find another opportunity to get involved in this trade. So that was NVIDIA. That's a little bit about why I've been closing some of these positions, right, and why I'm still cautious on this QQQ. You can see again right here. Look at this 486 level again here. It's around 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern on this Friday, October 4th. If we get above this, I think I'll be much more interested, but right now this is just way too much rejection to really be interested. Now, let's jump into the bad. Let's jump into the Tesla. Let's talk about where I lost on Tesla and how I did get bailed out slightly today. But it goes back again, why I still think this is an interesting trade, but the overall market is just not allowing this to work out fully. All right, guys, so here is Tesla. Here is the overall statistics on this trade. I lost about 21% on this Tesla trade, about $13,800, had about $64,000 in the trade, and came out with about a 21% loss. So percentage-wise, I'm very happy with what I did. Both NVIDIA and Tesla, right around that 20%, sort of offsetting losses, offsetting trades. A little bit of a gain, but I really don't count it. You know, obviously 13 versus 16, it's a small gain. But still, man, was really looking for more here. Had to sort of understand what the market's doing and had to go ahead and take this off today. It hurt. It hurt to give up on this. But sometimes I think that is the most important thing to be able to do, right? So talking a little bit about this Tesla trade, you guys know I went ahead and I longed Tesla. I longed Tesla on Wednesday of this week. I longed it on that pullback off of the delivery numbers because I was watching this 245 level. 245 into the 250. Let me go back and put this at 250. You can see Tesla's fading that 250 beautifully right now. So I longed Tesla back at that 245 area and looked for this sort of just to maintain and continue higher. You guys saw on my X account that yesterday I was down pretty substantially on Tesla, was down about 35, 40,000 on that. So that's where my sort of max loss was there. And then today got back up and held some key levels, and I go ahead and I get bailed out of this position. Now, let me explain to you why I did hold Tesla overnight. There are some very clear reasons why I did, and I will explain that to you now. that is, number one, the 236 level. So right here, 236, 236, and 236. This is a very major level on Tesla. This 236 level on Tesla. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up for a second just so I can really emphasize that 236 spot. This is a previous high. This is a previous high, and this is a previous low, right? And so Tesla was fading down into that 236, but also fading down into that 20 SMA, right? So yesterday we did have a pretty aggressive sell-off on Tesla, but I said to myself, you're still in drawdown that you're comfortable in. You're still in a fine position, right? I'm not too worried about what I'm currently sitting in, and I wanted to see out Tesla at that 20 SMA. Right, this 20 SMA was there, this 236 was there, and I wanted to give that time to at least test it and see what would occur, right? So that was the right idea there in terms of the technical levels. I'm happy I did do that because I do see this pop back up off this 20 today and push back up into the 250 level. Now, where I think I could have done better, right, because this trade is by no means perfect, where I think I could have gone better or could have done better was to take off profits yesterday at the 250 rejection point. So I bought these, if I go back to TradeZella, I bought these around, I know it shows the top of that candle, but it was trading around 245 at this time. I bought these at around 245 on Wednesday, near the market open as we were pulling back on that delivery number data. Now, yesterday, we got a very quick pop into that 250 level, and those contracts were up about 20% at that point. So I was considering taking those profits at 250, knowing how heavy that level was, but I didn't. I didn't take it, and I had to sit through this drawdown. That was a problem. That would really started to get that sort of uncomfortable feeling for me in this trade. I should have done better to take that profit at that 250, which was a perfect Tuesday low, rejection of that Wednesday, and a perfect fade yesterday off that 250. Now today, I was not going to make that mistake again. Today, you can see that both my exits were around that 250 level. When I saw Tesla once again failing that 250, in my mind, I said, do not hold through this 250 again. Do not watch this fail again. Do not watch this trade go from back to almost break even to heavy red once again. You just got your bounce off the 20. You got back into your 250. Lock up this trade and live to fight another day. And that was what was going through my head today. And I am slightly happy I did because, one, I can have a good weekend and I don't need that stress. The other side of me says, hey, Desi, right? The trade's still valid, okay? We're still above 245, right? The opportunity is still potentially there. You are back above this 245. You're holding back above this today. This was a little bit of a sort of exaggerated downside move. You're back over that 245. And if Tesla maintains that 245, you are still in the driver's seat on this idea for the potential of that 250 to break and for that upside to come in back towards 260. While I think that is still possible, I'm not comfortable doing it with the contracts that I have. That's pretty much where I'm at, right? If I had maybe a month out, 2 months out, if I had more time and closer to the money, I think I would have been more comfortable to do it. But in my current situation, I went ahead and I did bail out, and I did take that $16,000 or $13,000 loss on Tesla. This is a very interesting situation, right? Because number one, I still see the plays setting up. I still see the 245 holding on Tesla, and I still see the NVIDIA 122 setting up, right? Those downside demands are absolutely still there. And the market, the SPY ETF, is still, as we've been talking about, right? That SPY ETF is still holding over that previous all-time high and still seeing, potentially bullish action above that level. Now, when I zoom in on the intraday, right? When I zoom in on the intraday, this is what concerns me. And it's this type of intraday rejection action that has clearly shown the inability to move higher. And because of that, I go ahead and I relieve my portfolio of the risk on NVIDIA and Tesla. I hope that video makes sense. I wanted to make sure I got this out here on Friday to sort of give you guys sort of a clarity and, the heads up of what I've done with those positions that I made this video on. I want to always be as transparent as possible on this channel. And if I'm going to make a video about positions I took, I'm going to make sure that I make a video on what I end up doing with them. And I hope that this video is that, and I hope you learn something from it. Hope you sort of understand why I made my decisions, and I hope, and you know what, it is what it is, but I hope that I don't really regret this, and I'm not going to regret this, right? Because the mindset that I need to head into next week with is there will be another entry point, there will be another opportunity, and if it shows better next week, let's try it again, right? We come out unharmed, we come out down a few $1,000, we can survive that. Let's look for it again next week. So if you've had this type of week, just know that I'm having a similar one. It's not the best, but we're going to continue to battle. We're going to continue to fight. That's what we always do. And that is what's gotten us to this point in trading, is to never give up and is to always show up again, protect our risk, and find that next opportunity. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thank you guys for all the support. That's the Tesla and NVIDIA trade, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.